Shauna had been trying for 3 years. She was in her mid-30s. She wanted to try naturally. She wanted to give it some time. She had one miscarriage. If you've been trying to conceive for several months or even years with no success, you might be feeling discouraged and heartbroken. Seeing a negative month after month can crush your hope and leave you thinking if there is anything that you could be doing differently to get a positive pregnancy test. I'm here to tell you that there is another way. Not getting pregnant is a sign that there might be something that is not working properly in your body and reproductive function. And we need to get to the root cause to figure out what it is, change it, so that you can get pregnant. In today's Story of Hope video, I'm gonna share with you Sean's story and how I helped her go from 3 years of trying to conceive with no success to pregnant in 6 months after she started the personalized fertility plan that she got as a member of my Hope Fertility Coaching Program, so that you can start to implement some of the same things at home that she did. But before we get started with today's episode, I created this free guide called Food for Fertility that you can download and use to get started to create your own fertility food plan. I'll leave the link in the description below for you. So as I do with all stories of hope, you're going to hear from her directly. This is her voice, her words, sharing her experience. And then I'm going to comment throughout as I see necessary.
So we've been TTCing since about late 2019. So it had been at least 3 years before I originally found the whole program. I found it actually just through Marc's videos on YouTube. It was just a source of information for myself, because I think when you reach that stage of your fertility journey, you're kind of, looking for options. You're looking for, what other options you can consider at that point. Obviously, we know, there's things like you can move ahead with some fertility treatments, but at that point, we just wanted to make sure we tried everything before considering those additional treatments.
So I'll just mention, many of you come right here to Fertility TV, just like Shauna did, to find some resources and tips that you can start to utilize at home. And because, as she mentioned, she didn't want to go straight to IVF. She wanted other resources and other tools, like many of you. So you are in a similar place to where she was in 2022 before she got started.
22 is when I originally connected with you guys and sort of wanted to take the next steps with, what next and, what are the options at this point. So that's kind of where it kind of started at. And the thing is, I had already had one miscarriage before. This was in 2021. So I knew it was possible, but it had just taken so much time. And I'm 36 now. So this was a few years ago. So, I was just kind of it gets frustrating at a point and you're kind of just figuring out what next. So that's kind of when I think I checked in 2022 to just see what the options are. And then Lonica kind of was assigned and, she kind of, we kind of connected. But I would say it took a few months.
I just want to comment here as well. It's we have a team here. I have a team of individuals that support me in supporting all of you. One of those is Lonica, and she is a associate who is hands-on with all of the members to help in collecting their information and communicating and supporting them along the way, like all the other team members on my team. So when she got started, she was her main point of contact in between group calls and my support was Lonica.
Even though I joined the program to be actively making the changes or sort of checking in to see what next and just sort of being proactive about it. So I think late 2022 is when Lonica kind of provided the treatment plan. This is obviously after doing a bunch of tests and, figuring out what sort of works for us. So I think that's when I believe I started the program in 2022. And this was the second time I got pregnant. So I got pregnant in May of 2023.
So she started in 2022. We did a full evaluation, assessed all her labs, understood where she was coming from, what she had been through, what her root cause issues were. And then we created a personalized plan for her specific needs to get her the results that she needed and wanted, right? Then in May, she just said it, in May 2023, she had a positive pregnancy test. That is progress. That is amazing.
So it was about 6 months after I originally started that we were blessed with knowing that I was pregnant for the second time, and we had our baby in Feb 2024. To be honest, it's just one of those things where I think it's exactly what the program stands for. It's like hope. So it's just something you're looking for in terms of light at the end of the tunnel, or it's just a chance that you want to take on something you've not tried before. So like obviously at that point I had tried a bunch of things. I, had fertility doctor who I was in touch with. I did acupuncture. I was doing a few things, but I think what the whole program sort of aligned or sort of helped, put into perspective is just sort of, digging deep, kind of figuring out by a case scenario, what your unique case requires.
So she said a couple of things. One is that it really provided her with hope, which is exactly why I named the program the Hope Program. Because so many of you watching right now, that hope has been stripped away, whether it's been by negative tests every month or the negative communication that you've been told by your OB or REI or whoever that says, you can only do it this way or it's not going to happen. These are things that eat away at us and start to peel away that hope, that belief that we can accomplish this. And that was my mission when I created this, was to actually restore that. And also, as Shauna said, is to get to the root issue, to figure out why you or she are having these issues so that we can turn that around and have a focused plan of attack to achieve our goals.
I think that's like the testing and just sort of like understanding a bit of a lifestyle and just sort of figuring out what positive changes can be included or can impact our lives at that point. So I think it's just more taking that step into probably something you've not tried before. And, Lonica and Marc are experts in this field, or at least have a different way of thinking, and at least, making sure that you've done everything you can in your power to like try something out before, you want to give up or before you feel that the options don't exist. So I think it was just one of those things where we just wanted to see, at least with this program and this option. And obviously, like the videos that Marc used to post are very informative. They kind of provide a lot of just like insight into different areas that, that could be, pointing to your case. So it was just like, I just wanted to hear from them what is possible for us and what are the options that we have to consider at that point.
Yeah, so we all need a deeper dive. And she said she was working with a fertility doctor. She was working with an acupuncturist, but none of them, there wasn't one person that was synthesizing all of it together for her to create a cohesive plan, a cohesive path forward, and understanding the whole picture, which is often what I see, by the way. I see that many of you are working with a lot of different individuals. They're not only not communicating with one another, they're not considering what the other one is doing. And this is something that we do often. Most of the couples that we are supporting are actually working with other providers, IVF doctors, acupuncturists, whoever that might be, and we're taking all of those things into consideration as we gather that information so that we can come up with a cohesive plan forward to guide you on the right path. And that's what I think was the most important for her. It was that she needed a cohesive plan and an individualized plan and something to put it all together. But we also take into account her specific needs and desires. She said that she wasn't really interested in moving forward with IVF right now. So we supported her in that process to be able to tell her what we think she needed to do now to avoid that. And then should that time come sometime in the future where she hasn't been successful, then at least that was always an option that we could go back to. Shauna had been trying for 3 years. She was in her mid-30s. She wanted to try naturally. She wanted to give it some time. She had one miscarriage. We all have similar stories. The difference is that she took the next step to say, I need a comprehensive approach and I really need some solid coaching on how to move forward and create a plan for me. That is the most impactful thing that I heard from her. But I want to hear from you. What did you think was the most impactful part of her story? Comment below and let me know. And on top of it, I also want to hear your story. What is your fertility story? What questions do you have that I might be able to support you with? Comment below so that I can answer those questions for you as well. If you are ready to get personalized fertility coaching, head on over to marksklar.com/discovery call to speak to a real human on my team so we can identify if having me as your fertility coach is the right next step for you on your fertility journey. I'm going to leave you with more hope stories so you can regain your hope on your ability to get pregnant as well. You can check out those links in the description below. And until the next video, stay fertile.